Hornbeams and maples. This is Shady Bonsai. Hey everybody, Kirk here with Shady Bonsai. Quick little update video for you. I've had these two trees for a while. These are ones I picked up at the Minnesota Bonsai Society summer kind of auction. I'm trying to think when it was, maybe June. And I just haven't gotten around to talking to you about them. There were two species that I knew I wanted to add to the collection pretty early on when I was looking at getting back into things and being in a shady environment. First one up right here is Korean Hornbeam. Got this little one right here. Nothing too spectacular. This is maybe a centimeter across down to the base, not real big, but not a species you can just run on down to the local garden center and pick up. So I was happy to see there was a Hornbeam at the auction. It was really the only one that was there, so had to have it. And this tree is kind of interesting. It's been cut off right here. This branch comes this way, and then someone bent it back across the trunk. I don't like that. That's going to have to be fixed. Some other kind of weird growth. This is growing up and kind of into a whole other layer, which we really want to keep open for some other branches here. I'm just going to let this grow a bunch. This has got to put on a whole lot of girth before it's really going to be much of anything. This pot has got to go next spring when I repot this into a bigger pot. I want to get this tree to grow a bunch. So not really going to do, I haven't done anything to it, not a single thing to it the past month or so. Just seeing how it grows, giving a little fertilizer and some water, and then get it into more of a growing container for next spring. So that will be a project that's going to take a long time to develop. But here in the shade of my yard, one of the natural understory trees is going to be hornbeams. Now, this is a Korean hornbeam, and I really like them because they have a pretty nice small leaf. And I've heard some people refer to them as just trees that want to be a bonsai. So I'm going to be experimenting with that. We do have native hornbeams that would naturally be growing in the backyard. I don't have any. I do want to try to plant some native hornbeams here in my yard as well. They're a great understory tree. The one that grows right here in this particular type of forest is actually the hop hornbeam, which is sometimes called ironwood, but so is the American hornbeam. So I don't really like that name sometimes because it's confusing. But hornbeams are fantastic. Really looking forward to see what this one can turn into in the coming years. The other tree that I picked up at the auction that I want to show you is this Japanese maple. And I know it does not all fit in frame. Try to lower it down. I can't, there's no way. I can't get the whole thing in here. This thing is almost 5 feet tall. It's kind of, I'll put it up here. It'll be way cut off. Completely ridiculous. I picked this up. It's just a pretty, pretty average Japanese maple, but this sort of, garden variety of Japanese maple, you really can't get at garden centers around here. It is not winter hardy to Minnesota. So you can get like Bloodgood and things like that, but you really have a harder time finding Japanese maple here. There's been a number of companies that have come out with Korean maple hybrids with Japanese maple that are winter hardy here. So you're starting to see those. But just your good old Japanese maple, red garden variety, a little harder to come by. So got this for a great deal, and I'm just gonna let it grow. My plan is to use this one sort of as a mother tree, take a lot of cuttings from, let it grow, air layer some off, let it grow, air layer some off. Maybe we'll put an air layer on up here this spring and end up with 2 trees. We'll see. If I do, we'll definitely put that on the channel. This bottom, it's not quite an inch across. Want to keep on letting that grow, taking the top off a few more years, just letting it grow. I'd like maybe like a 2-inch, 2.5-inch maybe base on here before I start any kind of branch development. So this is a long-term project and also a mother tree for getting a whole lot of other small trees off. Maybe I'll do a forest or something like that. That'd be kind of fun too. If I can get a whole bunch of different cuttings off here, I definitely will be taking a lot of cuttings in the spring and growing a whole bunch of these. So that's the goal, is to use this basically just source material that I picked up for pretty cheap to be able to grow a whole bunch of other trees to experiment with. Again, maple, love to grow around here naturally. A lot of the big trees that are causing my shade are maples. sugar maples though, which probably not too great for bonsai, but you know, I got a bunch growing in my gutter. I'm gonna pull some of those out and see what I can do with those too. But excited to see what happens with Japanese maple. It should be able to tolerate the pretty shady conditions. They can live for a long time in the shade. Really fun kind of little tidbit for you. If you think about a young maple tree, maybe about this big around that you might encounter in the forest, that's maybe 10 feet tall, it's waiting its turn to become a big, mature canopy tree. And they can actually wait at that 10-foot height or so for 50 years in the forest, waiting for their chance to shoot up when one of the big mature trees dies. So it's really hard actually to estimate the actual age of a tree in the forest, because sometimes they spend a very long time being young, being perfectly happy and healthy down there as an understory tree before they really shoot up to become a canopy tree. It's kind of a fun little thing. So not a whole lot else to tell you about this material. It's just the Japanese maple and that hornbeam. That was my pickup. There is another auction coming up in a few weeks here. I'll definitely go, maybe look for some more pots, maybe a little more material. I don't need a whole lot more material. There's a bunch of stuff I haven't even shown you guys yet back on the bench. So that's what it is for today. Just these two species. I've done nothing to them yet, and I will not do anything to them until next spring. They are just growing happy and healthy, and gonna have some repotting and some other things done to try to get some more growth on them. So two good species for the shade. We'll be finding out more about them as the seasons go on. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned. More coming your way. Bye-bye.